Yeah, go ahead.
We ready?
All sets.
All right, well, I appreciate you being here. Although it's under tragic circumstances, as you know, we had a 9-year-old boy, recently turned 9-year-old boy, that was tragically shot last night. What I know is the Jackson family will be burying a 9-year-old kid, and that family will suffer, and we as a community suffer. I, I think the message that I would like to share is that I've been a policeman for this is my 27th year, and I have been physically close to a firearm for all 27 of those years. And I've come to realize that there's a significant amount of awareness, concern, healthy respect that we need to have for that machine, is what I was always taught in the academy is what it is. If you think about, in order for that gun to go off, the trigger has to be pulled, a pin has to strike the primer of a round, a fire goes off inside that round which causes gases and an explosion that expels that bullet through that gun, and indiscriminately it strikes wherever you point it. The decision to pull that trigger is one decision, but all the decisions that lead up to that can have a significant impact on lives, and we've seen it throughout Marion County, and we're seeing it throughout the nation. If you were to have a gun, I hope that you have a healthy respect of the impact that that gun can have, and an understanding of all the decisions that you have to make in order to operate that machine safely, and all the people that you are responsible for if you choose to carry that weapon. Like I said, I've had one for 27 years, and I have fired it 1,000 times. I've worked the action 1,000 times. I've loaded it and unloaded it 1,000 times. And every decision I make, whether it's cleaning it, whether it's loading it, unloading it, whether it's knowing whether it's loaded, whether it's what I'm pointing out, my decision to pull the gun, all those decisions are carefully considered. Things like emotion, fear, pride, anger, lust, greed. If you can't control those emotions, then you have no business carrying a firearm. Those are things that you have to be able to control because they impact the decision that you make with that firearm. You can't go on a Ferris wheel as a child and want to show a gun off to someone because something bad is going to happen. You can't go to a public park and to play basketball and think you need to carry a gun and not think that something bad is going to happen. You can't rob a store and take a gun and not believe that something bad is going to happen. You can't commit a burglary because you want a TV and carry a gun because something bad is going to happen. The decision to have a gun is significant. If you can't make good decisions around your emotions, you should not be carrying a gun, and I would ask that you would not. If you can't carry a gun legally, you've already made a poor decision. So your ability to make good decisions with that gun are suspect. I think you know, and I hope you know, that I spend a lot of time thinking about gun violence. We as a city are recognized for a number of great things, nationwide, worldwide. Unfortunately, we are also, as a city, recognized for our gun violence, and we're trying to impact that. We as a police department are dedicated to that. The mayor is dedicated to that. We've asked for help with that. Our federal partners are joining us in that effort, but it still comes down to critical decisions that we as a city and individuals need to make relative to gun ownership and having a gun. So I would hope you would extend that message. If you cannot control, if you don't know how to do conflict resolution, if you can't make good decisions, you have no business carrying a gun, and we would ask that you not.
Now, in this case, can you comment any further on the fact that
IMPD put out a tweet saying the gun was unsecured. Do you know how the 9-year-old or the children were able to gain access to it?
I don't. So you go back to those decisions that will be investigated. The people in that home know how that occurred. Our investigators will figure that out. But it still comes down to a decision that was made that allowed that to happen. And it's those decisions that if we can't make good decisions relative to that, then we shouldn't be possessing a firearm.
And this is tragic as well, not just for the 9-year-old who lost his life, but for the child who's allegedly responsible for this as well.
It's tragic all around, like I said, those bullets are indiscriminate. They go where you point them, and based on the decisions that you make. And I can't imagine feeling responsible for that 9-year-old child's death. Whether you're an adult or a child, it's significant, it's irrevocable, and it's going to impact those people around that for years to come. I hope that there are people close to them that can work through that. I wasn't on scene, but I spent the night listening to pages and phone calls, and that impacted me. I can only imagine the impact that it had on all those there. Our public safety officials, our fire department, our police department, our medical professionals. Nobody wants to work on a kid. So it's like you said, it's tragic, and it's unavoidable.
Now in this case, does it appear the children were playing with the gun or had just found it, or is that still under investigation?
Still under investigation, and all that will come out at some point.
Is there any possibility of charges against the gun owner?
Depending on what they find in the investigation, certainly.
And the gun owner appears to be a 27-year-old man from the police report, is that correct?
That's my understanding.
Now, are you aware if the 9-year-old lived at that apartment or was visiting with family, or?
I'm not. I don't know.
Is the gun owner related to this child or the shooter?
I believe so.
Do you know how?
I don't.
Okay, thanks, guys. One more? Oh,
what gun safety steps should families be taking to prevent things like this from happening?
So number one, you shouldn't have one if you can't make good decisions. Number two, there are locks. We always have locks. There are gun safety programs. Kids should be aware of the impact of those guns. Prosecutor's office has a good program. Our FOP has a good program. We as a police department can provide those programs. Marion County Sheriff's Department has gun ownership and gun safety programs. And we as a department, and I know all those other agencies, would be happy to maybe facilitate those a little more, and we'll look into doing that. So thanks.